The Matthew Books. Matthew, Tell Me About Heaven by Suzanne Ward. Published by Matthew Books. Part 1. Matthew. Communion with Matthew. During the years between Matthew's death and our first contact, I kept thinking about what all the mediums had said. When the time is right, he and I would communicate directly. Despite their apparent certainty that this would happen, I couldn't help but doubt it. Why would I ever be able to do something as divine, which it seemed to me, as talk with my son in heaven? I'm not remarkable in any way, not by beliefs or intelligence or training in any areas thought of as New Age thinking and practices. Although I have been told that everyone has the capacity for telepathic communication, it is our birthright, inherent in our souls. I felt innately unprepared, maybe even unworthy, of what I still considered a rare gift. I'd never had premonitions, prophetic dreams, or a sensation of déjà vu. When the phone rang, I never knew who was calling before I answered. Even Matthew's call the night before he died gave me no inkling of anything beyond his words, and so with good reason I had no conviction that someday, while I was still on Earth, we actually would connect. What I did have was hope and desire that we would, and I imagined that if we did, occasionally I could ask him myself about his life, and I would receive short answers like his comments to the mediums. Almost 14 years had passed, and I was far away from the dear woman who had been my only link with Matthew from 1982 until 1990, when I moved far from her home in San Diego. After that, until her health failed, I called her occasionally to get updates on him. Finally, I started asking God to give me a neon sign with directions for reaching my son, and maybe that's why our contact came about as it did. One night, I was wakened by a lighted ticker tape moving through my mind. Mother, this is Matthew. Yes, it really is Matthew. I thought it must be a creation of my years of wanting contact so much, and I greeted only with pondering what truly was his first message. In a quiet moment the next day, when my mind was floating somewhere tranquil, I heard the same message. I couldn't help but think, am I talking to myself? Making believe it's Matthew? Even as I had a sense that something unusual was happening. Someone suggested that I try writing short letters to Matthew and see what developed. Pen and yellow pad in hand, I concentrated on the letter I was writing to Matthew. I didn't hear anything, and no unseen force moved my pen. I tried not to feel discouraged when nothing extraordinary happened the following times either. But a few days later, I had some clearly expressed thoughts I felt weren't my own. That is, they were coming as if parallel with mine, like a mile of railroad tracks having separate, different ideas at the same time. Simultaneously with my thinking, this could be Matthew at last, it really could be, I was hearing, please listen to what I want to tell you. My excitement prompted me to start writing what I was hearing and not wait for the pen to do anything on its own. Matthew told me he'd been waiting a long time to reach me, that my years of stress had prevented my smooth energy flow, which was essential for our connection. But now we had it. That was our beginning. Our conversations quickly became longer and progressively astonishing as I switched from pen and pad to my computer. Every morning for about an hour, Matthew and I had a sitting. That's what I call our conversations, when he talked about his life and heaven. Once again, I could picture my son in his surroundings so far away from my own. As jubilant as I was, still, I wondered if some phenomenon was letting my mind form his part of our discussions until I considered the several differences between my thoughts and what he was telling me. The incoming information flows into my head near the top, whereas my musing seems to be at a lower level. Matthew, and all the other sources who came later, speaks at a normal conversational pace. He doesn't hesitate, as if searching for a specific word or how to most clearly express his meaning. That's unlike my thinking process, which often is only keywords or the yes sensation of a whole idea. Also, in contrast to Matthew's dependable, uninterrupted flow, at times I speak hesitantly as I determine which words will be the most precise or diplomatic. Some of Matthew's most often used words I know but never use, and on occasion his words were entirely new to me. But the most significant proof that I wasn't somehow fabricating the transmissions came when information totally alien even to my imagination, let alone my comprehension, started coming. Then I knew the source was light years beyond my head.